All I would just advise here is that at the end of this meeting, there should be a position paper that will show all of us that there is a direction that LAWMA wants to go now. The chairman, the GM, and all of you seated here, you have done wonderfully well. There are countries, states in this world that they have 90% of their waste as recyclable. And that's the way we want to go to. There is nothing that should preclude us from that group. And as the commissioner and directed by my principal, we want to reach that target and make our waste about 90-something% recyclable. We are not there yet. We are just even starting. So we still have a long way to go, but I know that it is achievable here. Whatever is happening in Singapore can happen here. We have the resources, we have the manpower, and we have the capabilities. It's just we need to bring up and to bring together ourselves to want to do what we need to do.
I wish to take us through memory lane that what is today known as LAWMA was created in April 1978 following the emergency of huge and accumulated backlog of refuse that littered the whole of Lagos State after March of the All Africa Games Festival known as Festac, Festac hosted by Nigeria in Lagos in 1977. Hitherto, refuse collection was handled by local government councils in the state. Decision of the then military administrator of the state to tackle the waste management problem through the centralization of its management under one agency led to the creation of Lagos State Waste Disposal Board, known as LSWDB, which over the years metamorphosed to Lagos Waste Management Authority, known LAWMA. Over the years, the organization have experienced a lot of transformations leading to expansion and growth in series of waste management programs, services, and partnerships. It is against this backdrop that this retreat is going to center on a sustainable planned action towards achieving efficient waste management system through deployment of adaptable solutions and best practices, as well as encouraging regional integration and customer-focused service delivery method, which is the mission statement of the LAWMA. At the end of this the program, we hope to have told the line of the vision statement of this noble authority, which is to develop and implement sustainable waste management strategies targeted at improving public health standards.
Basically, we are here to discuss issues. In discussing the issues, we'll mention the challenges. It's for us to look at the issues, the challenges, and find solutions to them. That's why we are here. And that is the main reason why we have decided in LAWMA to invite our partners in progress, the operators. Because without the operators, we can't do it alone. Like the Personal Clinic program said, we are here as a family. Whether you are in LAWMA or you are an operator, we are brothers and sisters in the same ship. And the ship has to sail and continue to sail. We want you to open up, let us know the challenges you are facing. We also tell you the challenges you are facing will rub minds, so that at the end of the day, we'll have good solutions to our problems.
Review. And the only area that we have that has been worked upon is the side where you have the old commercial admin and all of that. You will see that we have 3 departments reporting through the general manager and 3 reporting to the executive chairman. But then all is a network that ensures that we have effective and efficient delivery of LAWMA services. My department, admin and HR. Basically, it's a statutory department. It must function in every agency, and our activity, our major responsibility is to coordinate activities of all other departments, and we do that through all of these units that we have here: human resource, central admin, learning and development, and all of that. And you have seen workforce analysis. As we speak today, we have a total of 1,348 staff, which is made up of that analysis. The LAWMA staff that we have there is made up of 1,080. The project staff, for those of you that know, are the staff that we engage in doing some of our businesses that are not on our pension scheme, and so we use them to support our services, and that's why we have them there. And they have 7 consultants that are assisting our operation from time to time. The gender classification is what we have seen. We have 640 to 440, and I think for any personnel analysis, this is good because we are an operational agency. Without being gender biased, we are not saying that we must have more male, but this job requires that we have more male. And we have been sensitive to ensure that it's at least close to it. And that's why we find that some of our trucks that is on the road are now driven by women. And so we have been sensitive to our opposite sex.
So we are looking at new regional targets, and under that the strategy is decentralization of existing regions into further units. By the time you decentralize, you're able to reach more grounds, you're able to cover more grounds. We also, the expected outcome is, increment on what and its attendant effect on revenue base. And of course, this is strong here. We're also looking at relocation of regional offices to new units in proximity to the area of coverage. It's still part of the strategy to expand ourselves in order to have to be able to cover effectively all the nooks and crannies in the state. The retrieval of clients below 5,000 from PSP operators. There's this policy before where all those who pay below 5,000, PSPs could just, go ahead and enlist them and continue. That has stopped. LAWMA will now have a hand in every of the pie that directly belongs to it. We're also looking at extensive review of overdue clients' involvement, of electronic billing, software, and revenue applications. E-billing. Thank God the executive chairman also mentioned this, by the special grace of God, before the end of this year, they're going to be deploying e-billing seriously. Another one, to ensure effective delivery of bills, and also to ensure that, the entire state is properly captured. There are going to be deployment of personnel for construction and demolition waste across the state. A number of buildings are collapsing, a number of buildings are coming up. So the construction waste too definitely falls under solid waste, and LAWMA should be able to raise some revenue even from this angle. The business development unit shall be operated to look into new businesses, business ventures, and related revenue, can be generated from these areas. Now, new targets. This is the main bone of contention. In 2015, the authority was able to make 3.8 billion. Yes. But then this year, from what has happened at the series of budget meetings held and the targets given to us, the authority is expected to make a total of 6.6 billion in the year 2016. And if you look at the revenue as at February, let me quickly come back to it. Yes, February you can see is just 259 million, which is a far cry from the 640 million that is expected per annum. So what that simply tells us that we need to not just double our effort. 6.6 billion per annum. If you divide that by 12, you're having about 640 or whatever million, you know. And if you take the statistics of February 259, you see is a far cry from the target. So what that tells us simply, those of us in commercial and of course the entire LAWMA staff and also our partners, the PSP, is that we must all work round the clock. That's one. Two, we must all make ourselves a team to be able to hit this target. It's a tall order, but it is achievable. The quantum of money in waste is a quantum, is very, very enormous. You know, it is our duty, it is our responsibility to ensure we tap into these resources. And if indeed we are totally committed, we should be able to hit it. And these various strategies we have mentioned are those things that will help us to attain this revenue.
As to match, Ministry provides rich facilities for industry in general. Ministry of Environment can act as the agent to help companies sell their carbon credits on the world market. So we can actually generate funds from our waste. Examples of future projects, like recycling waste oil from cars and generators. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry in South Africa and India. We could actually do the same here. And from the last presentation, the claim services have a projection. So we can also look towards this area and actually make some more money from it. Solar energy for houses, similar to the new law that states that new estates must have sewage treatment plants. A similar law could or should be enacted for solar panels. We have estates all over Lagos, especially on the highlands, new developing cities. We should enact laws, and it takes us to the next one, which is the future is good, yes. The next one is this one. We could have composters. And these composters could be for hotels. You could also have composters for a particular area. You could have composters for town-size areas. Now, if you have composters, it reduces the waste that gets to the landfills. Now, from each hotel, you could make a law, and that's where we need the Ministry of Environment. You could actually put a law and says, Westwood Hotel should have a composter. We have the hotel-size composter there. Now, instead of taking all the food waste they generate here straight to the landfill, they could actually compose and use it for something else. People could actually buy the composites of what they've done here and sell. Now, town-sized composters could be put either in estates or in areas. This will also save us a lot of troubles. We could also generate income from this. They immediately have one answer to our problem and the least expensive investment prospect. This waste should be recycled into one. Animal fodder for our pig farms and fertilizers. In the beginning, this should be small labor-intensive plants so that we generate employment opportunities for manual sorting.
Peculiar people in Nigeria, changing our mindset is very, very difficult. So we need to really talk to people, let them every day on the radio, on the television, listen to this. Because if we move into recycling, which is what a lot of countries are doing, and we're just moving into it, if we do not educate the people, they have no idea what to do. A lot of people have not heard about it. They've heard about it, they don't know what to do. So we need to educate the people, and we can't do that. As PSK, we're pleading with LAWMA that this should be undertaken, and we should make ourselves a team, and we will make ourselves a team. We need to employ technology to collect payments. Like what said, our payments can be done by phone. We do bank transfer by phone. I do not see, because a lot of people have problems going to bank to make payments. Payments can also be done by phone if we look into the proper technology to do it. We need to get people, a think tank, to talk to us. If we need to get a foreign expert on these things in, we need to do it. We need to spend money. We don't have the money, but we need to spend money to make money. We need to get people to go into all these steps for the future, so that LAWMA and Lagos State will continue to stay the city of excellence. Thank you very much.
I think I mentioned it. Then the fourth bullet point there is very, very important, and that has to do with, during this period we are entering the rainy season, we will need at least to have about 60% dependence on TLS as a way towards removing the pressure on our landfill sites. That will solve a lot of problems. I think I mentioned that from time to time. Then, the slum waste management. The CCC is a community cleanup campaign that we started some time ago. We have a lot of waste hidden within our communities. The 3 Cs we started, and it has to do with slum waste management, which, with the permission of the general manager and the executive chairman, I will want one of my officers, after my own presentation with your permission, sir, to come up quickly, maybe 5 minutes allotted, for him to come and show us how waste within the slum areas could better be managed. So, the challenges. When the AGM admin and human resources was talking, I saw as part of his presentation that there is need for us to create a cadre that had never existed, at least to encourage people. Conversion from refuse collector cadre into driver and cleaner without replacement, that had been ongoing, but it wouldn't have happened if we have refuse collector cadre that will remove the ceiling that is put on them. Refuse collector cadre can allow this, our people refuse collector, to at least rise to about grade 6, GL 6, if we have that cadre, because it's very unique to our own mode of operation, and we really need to impress these people so that they will be able to stay on that cadre and continue their job, rather than looking for opportunities here and there. And by looking for this in Lagos, these are the slums in Lagos. We have Abete, Tolu, Oto, Makoko, Okefa, Unity Street, Majidun, Kyokyo Village, Ojo Road. This one and Signal Barracks. Another one just developed, sir. The one that you asked me to bring a submission is becoming so bad now. A slum very close to Alapicha, and 2 more minutes. Even that slum was so strong that when we went to enforce to move them from there, the controller enforcement, even RRS with gun, all pursued us and we ran away. So these are the situations that are coming. So to quickly add to that, in 2012, I led the team that cleared Marine Beach up to Costain under the bridge because the slum was developing. So many people are coming to Lagos because of these things I've mentioned: Boko Haram, cattle headmen, kidnapping, and all. Everybody sees Lagos as the only safe place to stay. And when they come, they cannot afford the house rent. And what they now do is to develop slums. Slums are coming. And whenever it develops, it comes with those vices. They have guns, they have everything. You can't push them away. And when that happens, our Lagos street will become clean. How do we manage slums? What I'm suggesting is that we have to identify and classify these slums, because there are plenty now. Then we have to get their CDA involved. Then we have to have advocacy meetings with them. Then we have pilot community waste depot program, which is what I'm suggesting, like we had in Ilasom of recent. Then we have this place we place the bin in a place that is accessible to the community. Then we now have the community to buy into it. We can call it a better community waste depot, where we are going to employ members of the community as bin keepers. And we now make them to bring their waste into that depot. We give them trash back each time they come, and we don't collect money from them at the beginning. Then we place the bin at the point that it's going to be accessible. Then we pick a PSP and form a slum management team or unit that will now place these special bins in these places, and PSP will be given opportunity to pick up their waste. Now, when the picking is becoming consistent, that people know that they don't have to dump waste inside canal anymore, then when it's becoming consistent, then we can introduce what I call partial sorting at the slum. That partial sorting will see us collecting the recyclables like old clothes, because they have so much old clothes in the slums. If we can remove the old clothes from Abete alone, the waste will be reduced. Then by so doing, we also have a place we can take their pet bottles and pure water nylon. You see, that partnership we have with Alchem, we can improve it. If we say go to Abete and you always get old clothes, we can pick things from each slum that is common to that slum, and then we then hand it over to the CDA. Without okay, my resource. Thank you, sir. That are my resources.
This morning, and just to let you know that this is actually going to become more. You know, according to the World Bank, Lagos plastic consumption is growing at the rate of 9.6% per annum. So right now, in 2015, we did 730,000 tons. By 2025, we'll be doing over 1.5 million tons per annum. At the same time, our population is going to grow. The population growth rate is just based on births. If you add in people that are migrating, there was a research that was given to us that 70 people join Lagos every hour. Every hour. This is given to us by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. 70 people join Lagos every single hour. So you can imagine the pressure we are going to face. So we need to look at it that recycling is very important. The first thing it does for us is that it saves us money because we are not buying virgin. The next thing it does is that, you know, according to the approach we took, we can become more tech. You know, we can actually become a recycling hub. What would happen if Lagos was actually the best recycling state in sub-Saharan Africa? It's actually possible. It will also create jobs. For the people that need jobs that are jobless, we can create jobs with recycling. And because Lagos is on the sea, the ocean, we can easily export. You know, people are already exporting. There's a company, I'm not going to mention their name because this is LAWMA, I don't want to matter. There's a company in Ogun State. They are making billions. They take plastic bottles, they crush it, and they export it. That's all they do, and they are making billions. So why can't we have more people, Nigerian people, making money from this? It's very possible. And then also on the social side, you know, we've been able to create employment for 80 people. We have 45% women. We have 52% of them are head of the household. So about 52% of people that work with us. So what we are trying to do at Recyclers with LAWMA support, we have these bicycles that we have been using, and bicycles are very, very, low cost, and it helps the environment. But what we found was that it's difficult for us to recruit and retain people because it's very, very strenuous. You know, the young people that are riding it, they get tired easily. So we are now trying to move towards this motorized tricycle that is to make us more efficient, and we'll be able to collect better and faster, because we have people that complain that we're not coming on time, and that's because of the limitation of our collection vehicles. So we're going to focus on improving that. We're also going to upgrade our hubs. We've been, for a long time, focused on using non-standard management tools. We have haphazard shop floor, underutilized capacity. So now we are working to improve our layout. We're working to modernize our machines so that we can actually increase our processing capacity and take on more waste. Another thing we're trying to do is to add value, because this waste has a value. The collection side, I know LAWMA knows this. Collection is the hardest part. We will do most of the work, but we get the least of the reward. We'll take the plastics and the cans to the recyclers, and they make so much money. So what we are trying to do is just do a little bit of processing, maybe crushing the waste, pelletizing the waste. Once we can do that, we can make a little bit more money and actually do better.
When we go for the revenue management meeting, everybody start complaining. Ahmed, what's the problem now? You didn't load me the right revenue. Because you know why? Now, what happens? So you go to land, they ask you to go and pay 10,000. You decide to pay 5,000. That original bill that says you should go and pay 10,000, I don't have it. It's the 5,000 you pay that ABC gives to me in the evening. But because we are operating cash accounting, we can get away with that. But because we are now transitioning to a modified accrual and to eventually accrual, that can no longer hold ladies and gentlemen. We now have to do these things right. We need to know what our receivables are. So in the evening now, what happens? ABC gives me a fee, and I load that fee into my system. I debit my account receivable and credit myself. Simultaneously, I'm applying the payment and reducing my account receivable. But I don't know my actual receivable. Because that original bill that asks you to go and pay that 10,000, I don't have it. It's the 5,000 that you paid that I have. It's the same problem that you have with law. So now, with a single billing platform, when you are asked to go and pay 10,000, that 10,000 will be on that billing platform and it's in my Oracle. When you pay, as soon as you pay, it's in my Oracle. So I can know. The GM will see every day, like cha-cha-ching, you're getting alert. And that money is coming in. So it's not like you find Fire's money in LAWMA or LAWMA's money in Justice. No.
What I would just advise here is that at the end of this meeting, there should be a position paper that will show all of us that there is a direction that LAWMA wants to go now. The chairman, the GM, and all of you seated here, you have done wonderfully well. You have done very well. But all I need to tell people, if you say LAWMA is not working, let's allow LAWMA not to work for 2 days and see what will Lagos will look like. You know, it will not be reality. But at the same time, we still have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. You see, I know you must have been hearing some things at the background that we are reforming our waste management system in this country, in this state. Any way we look at it, LAWMA is the key. There are countries, states in this world that they have 90% of their waste as recyclable. And that's the way we want to go to. There is nothing that should preclude us from that group. And now as the commissioner and directed by my principal, we want to reach that target and make our waste about 90-something% recyclable. We are not there yet. We are just even starting. So we still have a long way to go, but I know that it is achievable here. Whatever is happening in Singapore can happen here. We have the resources, we have the manpower, and we have the capabilities. It's just we need to bring up and to bring together ourselves to want to do what we need to do.
Now this is a description of the staff, the engineers in ICW, technicians, foremen, craftsmen, secondary staff, contract staff, project. Now, this area of contract staff, many of them, their age, they have some experience, but in most cases, they are not that show much commitment. And why? Because most of them believe that they don't have much at stake, and as a result, they can ask them to go at any time. So that is why we need to, the foremen, the craftsmen, and technicians, we need to do a lot of training in that area so that we have good backup staff.
The biogas parts from the AD plants. Biogas can either be used directly into a CHP to generate electricity, or we can compress into CNG. That is more advanced. We might not necessarily need to go there now, but it's still a possibility. Another option for food waste is converting to animal feed. The pig industry, like I said, Lagos has the biggest pig industry in Africa. So I don't think any of that food scrap should go to waste. It is the bottom of the pyramid that we can do. Just take the waste, dry it, and convert to animal feed. Also, biogas can be converted to methanol. Methanol can be used for clean cook stoves as well. Everywhere in Africa, we're all screaming clean cook stoves. This is also an option, and it's already very doable. So I'll just concentrate on anaerobic digestion and talk about biogas. Of course, we're all aware of what biogas is, a methane-rich gas. Usually biogas is about 65% methane and 35% carbon dioxide. All this depends on your feedstock. It is not cast in stone. At some point, or depending on what you use, you might even have a 50-50 percentage. Most engines would run once the methane value is up to 55%.
Okay, how to reduce the use of the materials? You can buy products with at least minimum packaging. This is also as a result of the fact that when you now get into a shopping mall, you can buy things that are almost put together rather than buying things individually. Now, you also can reduce materials by making use of plastic bags, bottles, and what have you. You can also repair things to not throw them away. And if you cannot really reuse or you can recycle materials. Now, what can we recycle? We can recycle things like cans, metals, Tetra Paks, polythene bags, polystyrene, electrical waste, gas, paper, cardboard, and organic waste materials. Now, these are some of the pictorials. You can see that even our TV, computers, plastic bag, tins, and cardboard, Tetra Paks, glasses can also be recycled. Now, how do we recycle? Recycle starts from compartmentalization of waste. Now, you have to have a bin that separates this waste into paper, plastic, glass, and cans. Now, you have also labels which now points out at the point in which you also recycle this waste. Now, you also have a color code for waste. For instance, you have blue for paper, green for glass, yellow for plastic, silver or red for can, things and other ferrous materials. Then you have brown for compostable and food waste. Now, these are the different types of